Dei, the tactician, he led with wisdom, his mind a fortress of strategies. His eyes, pools of molten gold, saw every move before it was made. Cramped-toe, the agile, he moved like smoke through the battlefield, his body a blur. He wielded twin daggers, each strike precise, each movement deadly. Hoba, the immovable, a giant of a man, his spirit burned with the strength of 1,000 suns. His warhammer, a symbol of unwavering power, crushed all opposition. Goddess Vasabonli the seer. She saw through the veil of time, her visions guiding their path. Her touch could heal the deepest wounds, her voice a beacon in the darkest night. Together they were the Ash Guardians, the last bastion against the encroaching darkness. Sworn to protect the world from the forces of chaos, they stood ready to face any threat. Their bond, forged in fire and tested by time, was unbreakable. Anon and Nona, twin entities of chaos, emerged from the shadows of the ancient forest. Their presence was a harbinger of turmoil, a sign that the world was about to be plunged into disarray. Whispers in the night, they sowed discord and doubt. Their voices, like the rustling of leaves in a haunted grove, carried secrets that could unravel the strongest of bonds. Their touch, a venomous poison, corrupted even the purest heart. Anon, the manipulator, had a gift for twisting truths and bending wills to his dark desires. He spun tales of deceit, his voice a siren's call, luring the unwary to their doom. His words were like honey, sweet but deadly, ensnaring those who listened too closely. He reveled in the chaos he created, his laughter echoing through the realms. Each lie he told, each seed of doubt he planted, brought him immense joy. Nona, the destroyer, was a force of nature, her fury unmatched. Her anger was a storm, wild and uncontrollable, leaving devastation in its path. Her wrath, a tempest of destruction, left nothing but ruin in its wake. Villages were reduced to rubble, landscapes scarred by her unrelenting rage. Anon and Nona, two sides of the same coin, were inseparable in their mission. Together, they embodied the very essence of chaos, the antithesis of order. They were the embodiment of chaos, the antithesis of order. Their presence brought about a whirlwind of confusion and disorder, disrupting the natural balance of the world. Their goal to plunge the world into eternal darkness. They sought to create a realm where chaos reigned supreme, where light and hope were but distant memories. The whispers started subtly, planting seeds of discord among the kingdoms. In the grand halls of power, their influence grew, turning allies into enemies. Trust eroded, replaced by suspicion and fear. Once strong alliances crumbled and the bonds of friendship were strained to the breaking point. Wars erupted, fueled by Anon's lies and Nona's rage. The land was torn apart by conflict as armies clashed and kingdoms fell. The Ash Guardians, sensing the disturbance in the balance, knew they had to act fast. These ancient protectors, sworn to uphold harmony, prepared to confront the twin entities of chaos. The fate of the world hung in the balance. As the forces of chaos and order prepared for an epic confrontation, the future of the realm depended on the courage and resolve of those who stood against the darkness. Their journey led them through treacherous mountains and across vast, desolate plains. The landscape was unforgiving, with jagged rocks and steep cliffs that seemed to reach the sky. The plains stretched endlessly, a barren wasteland where the sun beat down mercilessly and the wind howled like a mournful spirit. Every step forward was a testament to their endurance and willpower. Each step was a battle, each challenge a test of their resolve. The harsh conditions took their toll, leaving them weary and worn, yet they pressed on, driven by a purpose greater than themselves. Their faces, etched with determination, told a story of unyielding spirit and unwavering commitment. Dei, plagued by visions of a future consumed by darkness, struggled to maintain his composure. The visions were relentless, showing him a world where hope was but a distant memory. Each vision was a dagger to his heart, a reminder of the stakes they faced. He fought to keep his mind clear, to focus on the present and the battles yet to come. Doubt gnawed at him, whispering of the futility of their quest. The shadows of uncertainty loomed large, casting a pall over his thoughts. He questioned his own strength, his ability to lead and protect those who depended on him. But he knew that giving in to doubt would mean surrendering to the darkness. Cramped Toe, haunted by the faces of those he couldn't save, fought to control his rage. The memories of past failures were a constant torment, fueling a fire within him that threatened to consume everything in its path. He grappled with his emotions, striving to channel his anger into a force for good. The darkness within him threatened to consume him, to turn him into the very thing he swore to destroy. It was a battle fought in the depths of his soul, a struggle to maintain his humanity in the face of overwhelming despair. He knew that the line between hero and monster was perilously thin. Hoba, his unwavering spirit shaken by the sheer scale of destruction, grappled with a sense of helplessness. The devastation they encountered was beyond anything he had imagined, a stark reminder of the power they were up against. He questioned whether their efforts would be enough to make a difference. Was their strength enough to stem the tide of chaos? The enormity of their task weighed heavily on their minds. They faced overwhelming odds, a seemingly insurmountable challenge that tested their courage and resolve. Yet, they knew that they could not afford to falter. Goddess Forsubbenly, overwhelmed by the influx of visions, each more terrifying than the last, battled to hold on to hope. The visions were a constant barrage, each one more harrowing than the previous. She clung to the belief that there was still a chance to change the future, to avert the impending doom. The weight of the world rested on her shoulders, threatening to crush her. The responsibility was immense, a burden that seemed almost too great to bear, but she knew that she could not afford to falter, for the fate of countless lives depended on her strength and resolve. Through it all, their bond held strong. They drew strength from each other, finding solace in their shared purpose. Their unity was a beacon of hope, a reminder that they were not alone in their struggle. Together, they were stronger than the sum of their parts. They supported each other, their shared determination fueling their fight. In moments of doubt and despair, they found comfort in their camaraderie. Their collective willpower was a force to be reckoned with, driving them forward even in the face of overwhelming adversity. They knew they were not just fighting for the world, but for each other. Their bond was their greatest strength, a source of unwavering resolve. They fought not just for the future, but for the present, for the people they loved and the world they cherished. In their unity, they found the power to face the darkness and emerge victorious. The ancient temple loomed before them, a monolith of obsidian against the crimson sky. Its towering spires seemed to pierce the heavens, casting long, eerie shadows over the dense forest that surrounded it. The air was thick with an ominous presence, as if the very ground they stood on was warning them to turn back. It pulsed with a malevolent energy, a beacon to the forces of chaos. The dark energy seemed to ripple through the air, distorting their vision and making the temple appear even more foreboding. It was as if the temple itself was alive, breathing with a sinister intent. This was the lair of Anon and Nona, the heart of the darkness. Legends spoke of their cruelty and power, of how they had twisted the very fabric of reality to create this nightmarish sanctuary. The walls seemed to whisper their names, a constant reminder of the evil that resided within. Inside, shadows danced and whispered, playing tricks on the mind. The corridors were a maze of darkness, each turn more disorienting than the last. The whispers grew louder, filling their ears with promises of power and threats of doom. The air hung heavy with the stench of decay and the residue of dark magic. Every breath was a struggle, the oppressive atmosphere weighing down on them. The walls were covered in strange glowing runes that pulsed with a sickly light, remnants of the dark rituals that had been performed here. Illusions shimmered, tempting them with false promises and forgotten fears. They saw visions of loved ones lost, of dreams unfulfilled, all designed to lure them into traps. The illusions were so vivid, so real, that it took all their willpower to resist. They pressed on, their senses on high alert. Every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of light set their nerves on edge. They moved cautiously, knowing that one wrong step could mean their doom. They knew that Anon and Nona thrived on deception, their true forms shrouded in layers of illusion. The siblings were masters of disguise, able to appear as anyone or anything. The adventurers had to constantly remind themselves that nothing they saw could be trusted. Every corner held a potential trap, every shadow a possible enemy. The temple was a labyrinth of danger designed to confuse and ensnare. They had to stay vigilant, their eyes scanning every inch of their surroundings for hidden threats. Day, his mind sharp, saw through the illusions, guiding his companions through the labyrinthine corridors. His keen senses and quick thinking were their only hope of navigating the treacherous temple. He could see the subtle distortions in the air, the telltale signs of an illusion. His strategic brilliance was their only compass in this disorienting realm. He mapped out their path in his mind, avoiding the traps and pitfalls that lay in wait. His leadership was the beacon that kept them moving forward, even when the darkness threatened to overwhelm them. They were close. They could feel it. The air grew colder, the darkness more intense. They could sense the presence of Anon and Nona, the malevolent force that had drawn them here. Their goal was within reach, but so was the danger. The air crackled with anticipation, the silence broken only by the pounding of their hearts. Every step brought them closer to the final confrontation, the moment they had been preparing for. The tension was palpable, a tangible force that pressed down on them. The final confrontation was upon them. They steeled themselves for the battle ahead, knowing that their lives and the fate of the world hung in the balance. The temple seemed to hold its breath, the shadows gathering for the ultimate showdown between light and darkness.